Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. It's Friday morning, September 14, and Hurricane Florence has officially made landfall down in North Carolina, the next state down from us in the south. I waited until daybreak this morning to come out and do this. Like I said, we're going to give you updates as long as we can safely. We heard the wind gust a couple times in the wee hours. You hear Roger the rooster over there crowing. Him and his girls made it through the night just fine with that new layer of protectant we put up. It's been strong breezes around here, but North Carolina first. I've got an audience over there in the field. There's quite a few deer just over there staring at me. It's not quite light enough to see them yet, I don't think, on camera, but I've been following the news this morning, and it looks like there are 150 people trapped on rooftops in New Bern, North Carolina. And from what I read on the news, it looks like 200,000 people down there are already without power. So keep these people in your thoughts, keep them in your prayers if you are a prayer warrior. Times like this, we don't need to be picking sides as far as anything like politics, religion, none of that stuff goes. We've got some good people who are in harm's way and 150 people on rooftops. The article said that first responders are being called in from other areas to help rescue these people. My takeaway from it, and I'm hundreds of miles away, the storm is said to be reaching 200 miles wide. It's a huge storm. It's a monster. Here in my part of Central Virginia, they're saying that the strongest effects from it might be felt on Sunday or early Monday. So it looks like we're about 2 days away from that. But the breeze is picking up. We have a limb down here. Well, I'll show you. It looks like, it's from one of our walnut trees got ripped off there when the gust picked up here just a bit ago. There's the limb. It's still dim out here this morning, but we have this walnut tree right here. We have 4 or 5 of them here around the house, and you can see and hear it maybe even. The wind's starting to pick up again. This big poplar tree over there. You hear the leaves and see them moving around, even though it's not quite entirely light yet. Here's another precaution I took yesterday, knowing that the winds could pick up as early as this morning. Once I got everything out of the yard so that they wouldn't be projectiles, except for some heavy boards I put on top of the chicken pen. I'm just trying to do my best. I know those potentially can become projectiles, but I'm trying to do my best to save my chickens. But I took my car and I drove it all the way up to secure our garage doors. We have a detached garage, and last spring in the nor'easter that came through 6 months ago, I blocked these doors with heavy logs, and they still got blown open, and we lost a couple of window panes, and they were out here slamming around up against the well pump. So this time, I'm trying to be a little more proactive by blocking the doors with my car. In there, as you can see, the wind is actually starting to whip up here. So far so good. Chicken house is okay, but again, the winds haven't gotten as strong as they're going to be here. Boy, they're really picking up just since I came out. So, okay, I got a story I want to tell you guys about evacuating storm areas. And I'm going to have to get inside, get this uploaded, and keep my eye on the storm. Okay, guys, story time, and I guess here's your wisdom, if you can find any in this story here for your morning ramble. I know a lot of you folks say you get wisdom out of these things. That surprises me as much as it would anybody who knows me well, but for what it's worth, here it goes. Now, as you know, here on our channel, we don't discuss politics, we don't discuss religion, because we don't want to alienate anybody. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You and I might completely disagree on our political views and on our religious views, and I do have them. I'm not saying that I don't have them. What I'm saying is, and if you're a loyal subscriber, you know this, I'd rather focus on the things we have in common so we can be friends and get along real well, instead of alienate each other due to the maybe 5% of who we are that we disagree on. Now, with that said, I'm going to tell a story here that I heard in church once. Just a little very tiny background on me and kind of why I have some of the views I have. I had two parents who were of different religions. They were quite opposite from each other. That's all I'll say. And during much of my childhood, I was kind of forced to be both. I'd go to one day, the other. So if anything, a lot of folks have said I've seen bipolar. Maybe that's why. Not blaming my parents. But here's the benefit to that. Because, when we go through situations that aren't too comfortable, we try to glean what we can from it. I paid attention. I paid very close attention. So anyway, to both. And I guess my assume nothing, question everything day started very early. But I heard a story once at one of my parents' during a sermon that I think is very appropriate for this situation here in Hurricane Florence. Guys, if you're being told to evacuate. Okay, if it turns out the storm switches, moves around, and you would have been fine staying where you are, well, so what? They were wrong, you were right. You can spend the rest of your life talking about how you were right, okay? But don't take the risk. There's nothing in your home. I love my homestead. I love my house. I worked very hard for everything that I have inside this house. But the two most important things to me inside that house is my wife and my son. And if we had reason to believe that we were going to be flooded up to our rooftop, and I'm not judging people who are in this situation, again, my deepmost concerns go out for the folks in New Bern, North Carolina, and I hope they rescue each and every one of those people who are down there. If I got enough advance warning that we might end up in the same situation here, I would grab my wife, I would grab my son, and I would get the heck out of here, no matter how much I love this old house built 115 years ago. It's a living piece of history. I would leave everything behind to get out. Now, back when I was a little kid, being forced to go to one of the other churches, the preacher told a story about a flood, a very similar situation. Hurricane was coming through, and the local authorities got on the horn. Of course, I was a little kid back in the late 70s and the early 1980s, so they would have had those old rotary phones. I guess the powers that be, boy, the wind's whipping up. I'm not under any trees, by the way. That's why I'm out in this field. I'm making sure to be in the safest possible spot possible to make this video. So there's no overhanging limbs or anything. Guys, you got to be aware of your surroundings at all times in situations like this. So anyway, they get word out, okay, we're going to get flooded. Everybody needs to evacuate. So there's this one guy. He says, well, I'm not leaving. I'm just going to pray about it, and God's going to take care of me. So he stays put. Well, the floods come, and the waters rise, and he ends up living in the second floor of his house, or being, up on the second story of his house, because the first floor is flooded. So he's hanging out the window watching the waters rise. Some guys come by in a boat. They're like, come on, jump in. We're here to save you, but we can't hold the boat here for long. The waters are too strong. He says, no, that's okay. I'm praying, and God's going to take care of me. So the boat keeps on going. The waters continue to rise. Guy ends up on his rooftop. And so a helicopter comes by. It's the National Guard. And they drop a rope, and they say, grab the rope. We're here to rescue you. You got to come. This is your last chance. And the guy says, no, I'm fine. My faith is strong. I'm praying to God, and he's going to keep me safe. So the helicopter goes away because the guy wouldn't get the rope. Well, the floodwaters rise more. They knock him off. He drowns. He dies. He goes to heaven. He meets his maker. And he says, God, I don't understand. I've been faithful. I've kept my sins minimized, to the best of my human ability. I've witnessed to others. I've brought other people to you through my testimony. How could you let this happen to me? And God just looks at him and he says, my poor dear child, who do you think sent warning to evacuate? Who do you think sent you the boat? Who do you think sent the helicopter? Guys, let's not mess around with this. If they're saying get out, leave. And again, I'm not judging folks who are trapped on their roof. No way would I judge somebody in that situation. And I'm not judging people who are strong in their faith. Absolutely not. I have my own views, but I respect people who are strong in their faith. Okay, I'm strong in my views, and strong in my faith. I just don't talk about it here because it's in the place. But what I'm saying is this story was probably the most appropriate story as far as analogies to this situation goes that I could think of, and that's why I told it. If you're in harm's way and they're telling you to get out of harm's way, don't wait. There's 150 folks on rooftops, 200,000 people without power. Now maybe for whatever reasons that we don't understand, these folks just couldn't get out. Okay, it happens. Guys, be safe. We're going to continue to keep you updated. Again, we're in Central Virginia. The wind is picking up, as you can see. We had a little limb come down. One of the screens got blown out of the house. This is just from little gusts, but so far so good. We appreciate your thoughts and your prayers and all your well wishes. We're seeing them in the comment section. We're gonna keep you updated, and if we have to leave, we're gonna leave. I can promise you that. I mean, I'm not gonna be one of these guys out here that, oh, look at me, I'm prepped, I'm prepared. You guys know that's not me. If you don't understand my doomsday end of the world prepping scenario, go back and watch that video. I'll put it on the end of this one. So, all right, well, we'll see you next time. I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you for being with us here at Homesteading Off the Grid. Thank you to all of our loyal subscribers. And we'll be back with more next time.